Kristen and Luke are engaged. Yes, we all knew this for some time now that they have been engaged thanks to social media, but we actually got the episode where we saw that they actually basically Luke proposing, because we saw the build up leading in him planning. He had Danny and Nia first in on it, then we had pretty much Zach that figured it out, and of course they planned this whole trip. The entire cast went except for Jax, and we finally got it, guys. We finally saw the proposal of Luke proposing to. There was no negativity. We soon get to that, but there was no negativity for this episode. Everything just felt light. Everything felt not dark. We weren't focusing on the Jax of it all. We didn't have much of Brittany. We didn't have much of Miss Janet. And then we also did not really have much of the Jesse and Michelle getting into it. We also saw where we finally got where Jesse decided to have a conversation with Aaron. I still don't know what's up with his eyes. Like, I don't know. But we finally saw where they had their conversation, and basically seems like it went well because, like, I believe the following day they were all Jason, Aaron, and Jesse. They were out by the pool, and they were all seemed to be trying to get along at it, basically. But we saw where they were basically going on the boats, and of course, typical Kristen, because she doesn't know what's going on, you could see that she was basically in her feelings about certain stuff where she never really wanted to take pictures. She felt sweaty, the time was hot, and everything was pretty much coming down, and I could feel the frustration, and not really frustration, but I could feel Luke's, where you're anticipating something, you have something so planned out in your head, but the person will not just follow the scripts that you have planned out in your head. And I could see and feel his frustration where he wanted to just have her go along with what he has planned. And to me, I think it still worked out perfectly. Where, of course, he got her at the end of the boat and had her. I guess she has a liking for dolphins, and he said there was a dolphin. He then got down on one knee and decided to propose. And I was so, like, her reaction when she turned around, I was literally chuckling because I was like, you can't plan this shit. Like, you cannot plan this shit. Like, it's just, yeah, you cannot plan this. But I don't know. I liked this episode. It was the first episode for me for the season where I could say that it was not too dark. It was not filled with negativity. But of course, we know that that won't last for long because we have someone like Janet who's a part of the cast. Um, we saw also Zach. He was, while they were on the boat, he was making the plans for the dinner that they will have downstairs, and also making the planning arrangements for in the bedroom for when they came back from off the boat. And I actually, to me, I felt like, I'm sure, yes, there may be some stuff that they wanted, or whoever they were planning wanted to happen. I may not go according to plan, but for me as a viewer watching it, I could say that this felt perfect. Like, the from the Danny and Nia of it trying to take pictures, and then them setting it up for then their time to take pictures. And I'm just happy that Kristen did not necessarily sabotage the whole proposal, because we all saw in the beginning where she was nervous about wanting to take pictures because she felt hot. She didn't feel like she wanted to take pics. And then we saw where we also had, when they would then decided for her then to then decide to take both of their pictures, at least she actually went along with it, and she did not necessarily, ruin the what Luke had planned. But I felt like everything went well until Jason decided to be eavesdropping on Brittany, because I think we had Zach who called Brittany to let them know that the dinner is actually an engagement dinner for Luke and Kristen. And we had Jason eavesdropping, and then he decided to go into the bathroom where Michelle and Janet were getting ready to let them know that the dinner is actually an engagement dinner because Luke and Kristen got engaged. For me, I like somewhat, whether they're in a good or perfect place, I like where Michelle and Kristen is, because we saw where Michelle at least showed up to show support for Kristen and Luke's engagement. But then we have Miss Negative Nancy, Miss Negative Betty, basically making everything about her and at the same time being a Debbie Downer, where she says that she's not going to be going to this engagement dinner because she thinks that it's for, yeah, she thinks that it's more basically for them to be there with persons who not. And I somewhat get what she's trying to say, but I just think her delivery just gives off, why? Why are you ruining this moment? Like, yes, they Kristen and Luke aren't physically there to see you ruin this moment, but why are you making this moment about you? And for you to then, obviously, you clearly wear the pants in this relationship or marriage. You're now dictating to Jason to say you guys are just going to get dinner. We could clearly see that Jason didn't have an issue going to dinner with for Kristen and Luke. But Miss Debbie Downer feels as if that she needs to let pretty much everybody know that she is not going to the dinner, and she feels like she's just going to go somewhere, and then she probably leaves tomorrow as well because the entire trip now is all about their engagement. And like just once, Janet, for once, 2 episode or 3 or couple episodes, just give us the true you that person say you are off camera. Just let us, the audience, have a feeling, an idea to say, okay, maybe we see Janet getting bad edit. Maybe Janet is this individual. But for you to always find the negativity and the moments to be the villain and then trying to play victim, and then you're the same one who will say Kristen is someone who will do stuff and then like basically throw rocks and hide her hands. It's like you're not making it any better for us to like you, Janet. And I don't know if your aim is for us to even like you or you don't really care if we like you or not, but you're not making it any better. And it feels to me as if at this point, I really don't give a fuck if I like you or not. Because for a moment like this, for you to somewhat make it about yourself and then turn around and say you won't be going to the dinner because it's about they want persons being around who whatever, which might be the case, yes, but for your delivery, how you came off, it was just like poor taste. And again, maybe it's right message but just wrong messenger, but it just felt to me like, why? And it was just disgusting and in poor taste. But we saw where Kristen and Luke and Nia and Danny, they came back to the resort, and then they came back, and then this is where we saw where they went up to the presidential suite, and this is where we saw they surprised them with little um engagement stuff. And of course that let them know that the presidential room is actually for them. And of course I believe next episode is when we'll probably see them going to have the engagement dinner. But it was a nice episode. Next week's episode seems like finally Janet will get it, because I saw that in the trailer where they will be ripping into Janet, because of course it's Janet. Why wouldn't we want to create some shit with her, because she creates the shit? But I don't know. I didn't have much to say on this review for this episode, because it was really mostly about Luke and Kristen's engagement, and it went off to me cool, as in flawlessly. And it was a nice thing they did for them. And I like the fact that everybody could come together, minus Janet, could come together and celebrate love for somebody. But clearly Janet feels like she doesn't want to support love. She feels like she should be the only one who has the perfect marriage. But that was my takeaway on the episode, guys. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Did you enjoy it? I felt like it was a lighter episode this season. Let me know, guys, in the comment section. Guys, remember to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. And I catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.